Hello, this is everything that I watched in the month of January, a month that seemed to last an eternity. We made it. January is over. Lighter nights are coming. This is everything that I watched. The first film that I watched in January was I watched The Wild Robot. This was such a sweet film. Probably my favourite DreamWorks film to come out since Shrek. I gave it 4 stars. This was so unbelievably sweet. I feel kind of evil because I didn't cry. Most people I know who've watched this film have cried. I didn't. It takes quite a lot to make me cry at a film, though, but it was a very, very sweet film, and I really enjoyed it. The animation was beautiful. It's a really comforting film. I'd highly recommend it if you're having a bit of a rough day. It's some really good escapism and just very, very sweet. The Wild Robot, I would put in A tier. It's very comforting, very sweet. It's like Wall-E crossed with Over the Hedge, and as a kid, I loved both of those films, so I can't recommend it enough. The first series that I watched this year was I watched Broadchurch. I don't know how I just missed this one growing up. As someone who used to watch ITV dramas with their mum all the time, this one just slipped the net. It was nothing groundbreaking, but I did enjoy Olivia Colman and David Tennant. Didn't like how it is basically just the same storyline dragged on over 3 seasons, which is it's starting to get to be a bit of a push. I'd recommend it if you do like an ITV, BBC drama and you just want something to stick on. It's not too taxing to watch, but there's a lot of them I would recommend over this one. Like I'd recommend Line of Duty or Happy Valley over Broadchurch. Well, I'd give Broadchurch 3.5 stars. Like it's fine. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it was all right to just stick on an evening. And I would put it in probably in B tier, I think. The next film that I watched was Abigail. This was ridiculous. This one was so silly, but in the best way. It's a radio silence film, so it's the people who brought you Ready or Not and the most recent Scream films. It was classic radio silence. It was so stupid. It's about this group of criminals who are tasked with kidnapping this really rich guy's daughter. They kidnap her, but then it turns out that she's a vampire, and it's just so ridiculous. She's a vampire ballerina. Like it's just so silly. There's 10 out of 10 exploding bodies everywhere, and it's paced really well. It's really engaging, and it was a funny film. I enjoyed it. It wasn't as good as Ready or Not, but I did enjoy it and I'd recommend it. I gave it 3.5 stars and I would put it in sort of straddling A to B tier. It was a good film, but it wasn't as good as Ready or Not. The next film that I watched Drive Away Dolls. I had wanted to go and see this film at the cinema, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't waste my money, to be honest. I gave this 2 stars, and for me, it's C tier. I thought the pacing was so off. I was bored. I was so bored. I felt like all the characters were just overacting so much. I really didn't like Margaret Qualley's character, and usually I love Margaret Qualley. Um, I'd compare it to Honey Don't. I also didn't like her in that film. Same thing, different font kind of vibe. Like, I don't know, it just felt so forced. There was a few stylistic choices that I would question. There was just like some random like trip scenes interjected between cutscenes, and I just thought they were a bit. It was just like, oh, we forgot to put any like cool stuff style wise in this film. Whack that in, that'll make it look cool. Like it just looked a bit naff, to be honest. The next film that I watched was House of Gucci. I was very late to this film. I wasn't that bothered about it, you know. I gave it 2.5 stars, very just slap bang in the middle of the road. I I did watch it in a few sittings. Like that probably hasn't helped my opinion of it. I just kept watching bits of it every now and then, and I just thought Gaga was so wooden, and so was Adam Driver. And I kind of get that his character is supposed to be that a little bit awkward and a bit wooden, but it just felt so wooden. I can only like a film so much if Jared Leto's in it. That man, he's got a very good talent of ruining films. Hey, I despise him. I really enjoyed the story itself, and like it was a pretty digestible way to learn about the founding of Gucci. And Gaga had some great hair. some great hair. I'm kind of glad, again, I didn't go and see this one at the cinema, but yeah, very middle of the road, 2.5 stars, and I'd probably wang it in beta. It was fine. It did the job. The next film that I watched, I got a lot of flack for not liking, and on paper, I should have liked it. The film I watched was Life of Chuck, and I gave this 1 star. It's C tier. I watched this film because I had listened to a podcast with Matthew Lillard on it, and Matthew Lillard has a small role in this film, and he was singing this film's praises, and I love Matthew Lillard, so I thought we're on to a winner here. And it's an adaptation of a Stephen King book, so again, winner. It's Mike Flanagan, winner. It's got Tom Hiddleston, winner. I thought I was in for a good evening. I hated it. Thought the pacing was awful, and I just didn't care about what was going on at all. I did enjoy the soundtrack, however, and I did enjoy getting to see Tom Hiddleston dancing. That was silly. But overall, I was really, really unbothered by this one. I couldn't put my finger on exactly why I didn't like it. I feel like there was too many characters and too many things going on for me to feel any kind of connection to anyone or anything. The next film that I watched was I finally got around to watching Sinners. I understand why it's nominated for 16 Oscars. I loved this film. It was so good. Michael B. Jordan's performance in this was crazy. He plays 2 people. Michael B. Jordan squared. It was crazy. It was so good. Some of the scenes in this were absolutely mind-blowing. Like, there's one scene in the barn when they've just opened the juke joint, and there's like the choreography. It's insane. It's all done in one shot. There's this massive barn dance with an original song. I think that's nominated for an Oscar. As someone who isn't that bothered about fantasy, I've watched quite a lot of vampire stuff recently, and I've not been hating it. Really, really enjoyed Sinners. I did find that the first half did veer on dragging for me a little bit, but it was creating a lot of backstory, so you were more invested in these characters, which is fair, but it did verge on dragging a little bit for me. But the second half was incredible. I do think though that some of like the scary bits could have been had a bit more impact. They could have had a bit more. The jump scares could have been a bit more intense. Sinners, I gave 4 stars, and I would put it in A tier. I'd recommend Sinners. It's a very good film. The next thing that I watched was this series of Interview with a Vampire based off the Anne Rice books. I loved this. It was so good. Again, continuing the vampire theme, very vampire heavy start to the year. I really, really enjoyed this. It's gay, it's vampires, it's great. What more can you ask for? I adored Lestat. I did find Louis verged on annoying. Him and Armand, I was they were getting a bit whiny, but Claudia and Lestat, amazing characters, so enjoyable. I really want to read the books now, and I also want to watch the movie with Brad Pitt. I've heard good things. There's a lot of people say it's not as good as the series, but it's decent. I know there's a 3rd season coming this year that's more Lestat heavy and based in the future. I'm not usually the biggest fan of films or series that go forwards and backwards in time and have that kind of structure, which this one did. It was the interview and then going back in time to when it happens. I thought it was done very well and very tastefully, and it didn't interfere with the pacing of the show at all. I'd highly recommend this show if you're into vampires. Overall, Interview with a Vampire, I would highly recommend, and I'm really looking forward to the 3rd season that is coming out later this year. But that's everything that I watched in January. It's finally over, the month that seemed to last an eternity. February, I'm very excited for things that are coming out. We've got The Moment with Charlie, we've got Wuthering Heights. I have already got so much to say on that film, and I've not even watched it yet. Scream 7? Is Scream 7 in February? Yes, I think it is. I'm excited for Scream 7. But thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I hope you have a lovely February.